welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm glad to be here. I'm an immigration attorney. I'll be with you for the next hour. Thanks for joining us for the special 10 a.m. Central edition of the Immigration Answer Show. This is episode number 446. Looks like the waiting room is already full. We're going to get to the calls right away. I wasn't sure what kind of a turnout we were going to get, but people seem to always have questions, and as long as people have questions, we will have answers. Now, we're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of the Immigration Answer Show. October 16th will be our 5-year anniversary. We are also headed towards 500 episodes of the Immigration Answer Show. So we're going to have to do something special for the 500th episode, and we are now just 500. We're just 54 episodes away from that special episode. So if you've been watching for a while, you know the drill. Leave us a comment. It has already filled. So let's go ahead and get started and talk to Ricardo. Hi, Ricardo. How are you? I can hear you, but for some reason I don't see you.
That's okay. Weird. Now I think it's on.
There we go. How you doing?
Okay. Hey, good morning. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate that. Okay.
Sure. What can I help you with?
So I am a U.S. permanent resident. Okay. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, U.S. And I have a son who lives. I'm divorced. I have a son who lives with his mother in Brazil. I tried to get him a visitor visa for him to visit me in U.S. And instead I got this.
Sure.
So
how old is your son?
13.
Okay.
So the interview was yesterday and she denied it.
Mm-hmm.
It says here, section 214B, fail not to demonstrate that activities are consistent with the non-immigrant visa which you applied. What do you think it happened?
Well, we have to remember most visit visas are denied. Most visit visas are denied. And let's back up a little bit. How did you get your green card, Ricardo?
Employment based.
And were you in the United States on like a H-1B and then you switched over, or how did the process go?
I was L-1B and then I adjusted status within the United States.
So, whenever someone applies for a visit visa, the whole shooting match is whether they can demonstrate that they're going to come home. So because he has a father who has a green card, they're worried that the kid's just going to come and stay and not really visit. So they don't really believe people, even when all they want to do is visit. So I'm not surprised the visit visa would have been denied. If you'd asked me 3 days ago, I would have said, yeah, it'll probably be denied. As terrible as that is, because of course a father wants to see his son, but that's just sort of how they're built that way.
So the agent, she saw kind of inexperienced. I can see she was talking to her supervisor all the time.
How do you know that? How do you know that? Were you there? Are you in Brazil right now?
Correct, yes.
So you went to the interview.
I went to the interview, and the interview was yesterday, and a couple of things. I was unprepared. I take that. I think I should have prepared better. And I think she was new. I could see she was talking to her supervisor all the time. What she didn't ask me, and I think, okay, and I'm going to make a 30-second pitch because I don't want to take people's time. She didn't say that, but I think I should have done this. Hey, man, I'm a U.S. permanent resident. I understand I'm requesting a visitor visa. This is my son. Here is his birth certificate. Okay, this proves he is my son. I'm a U.S. permanent resident, but I am divorced. So here is my divorce decree. This says I am divorced. Okay, and this kid here, he lives with his mother in Brazil. His mother has his custody. Here is his custody papers. He's a minor. He lives with his mother. And he has school here in Brazil. So here's a certificate that proves that he has school here in Brazil. So my intent is to take him to a visit, but I'm fully aware he has to come back to Brazil. Do you think that would have been enough?
It sounds like it's better than what actually happened. I mean, I probably would have skipped that stuff at the beginning. I think you got to the important stuff at the end. The whole shooting match on a visit visa is, do I believe that the person sitting in front of me is going to come back on time. They're going to follow the rules and come back. So I think that I would have had that custody arrangement. I would have had the school records. I would have had an affidavit from your ex-wife saying, I authorized this trip and I know that he's coming back and he's only going to be gone for 2 weeks. He's got to be back for school, whatever it is. And I would have nailed all that stuff down. You gotta, you only have, better than me, you only have a couple minutes to make your pitch. And I think you got to lead off with, I'm going to prove to you today that he's coming back and we have every intention of him coming back. And oh, by the way, every time I've had any kind of visa to the United States, I've always followed the rules. So you should know, based on your own damn records, that our family follows the rules and here's what our plan is.
Okay, got that. So, okay. Now, let's say in the future he wants to immigrate to the US. If I want to file an I-130 for him, how bad was that denial?
Oh, not bad. No. In my mind, I've done videos on this. In my mind, they sort of take this approach. Oh, well, we see why Ricardo's son wanted to get a visit visa, but he probably really wanted to get a green card all along. So we sort of caught him, and now he's gonna go through the right way and do the I-130. I don't think they're gonna hurt it at all as long as he discloses that there was that prior application. But I don't think anyone's gonna hold it against him.
Okay. So what would be better now? I got my green card last year, August 22. Would be better I become a US citizen and then file an I-130 or file right away as a permanent resident?
Well, I guess to me that would go to, what is your plan as far as, do you intend to try again to get him a visit visa?
Not at this moment.
Well, I know not at this moment, but let's say a year from now. Because either way, if you wait for citizenship or apply for a green card for him now, he's not going to be able to come on that for a couple of years. So let's jump ahead 18 months from now. Your son has still, he's 15 at that point or 14 and a half. He still hasn't been to the United States for a visit. Are you going to want to apply for another visit visa for him?
Yeah, I don't know. At this moment, I don't know.
Well, what I would say then is, if you go the I-140 now route as the holder of a green card, then I think that'll be the final nail in the coffin in him ever getting a visit visa. If you go the citizenship route, you could try again a year and a half from now and go sort of the way we just outlined with making the pitch. They still might deny it, but once you file that I-130 for him, he's not getting a visit visa to the United States.
What about an F1, a student visa?
Same thing. I mean, they'll see he has a green card holder dad in the United States who's about to become a citizen. And, we always got to think about, too, him turning 21. So we want to make sure that we put him in the best, if he wants to come and live in the United States. I think an F1 would be great. I think actually the biggest thing hurting him for the F1 would be the fact that you live here with a green card.
Okay. So a quick question. I was reading some articles, so I understand if you are a U.S. citizen, there's no backlog for children of you under 21, right?
Yeah. So if you become a citizen in 2027, he'll be 18, and then you file an I-130 for him, and then you're good to go.
Okay. And if I file now as a green card, I understand there's a wait time.
Yeah, it'll still probably be, it's okay. It might not be a bad idea to do it now because you'll at least get your place in line on the I-130. You'll get that part processing, and then you notify them when you become a citizen. But it will probably be the fact that you became a citizen that finally gets his case moving to completion. If you're not going to apply for a visit visa, I would probably go ahead and do the I-130 now.
Okay. Yeah, no, the question is, so if I go the I-130, that prevents me from filing a visit visa, right?
Or F1. It doesn't prevent you from it. It just prevents it from being very likely to be granted.
Got you. Okay. I need to sleep on that, see what we want for the future. But
Thanks
at least I was very concerned this would affect his future. But if you're saying that's not a big deal, appreciate that.
As long as you always disclose it, it should be fine.
So if I try again, I should say, hey, I have a denial and here's why, or don't even mention that.
They'll ask what was the outcome. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. All right.
Have a
Sounds
good
good.
day, Ricardo. See you,
Thank you.
buddy.
Appreciate your time, man. Thanks.
Got it. All right. Olu's next. What do you say, Olu? You're on mute, buddy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Can you hear me now?
I got you.
Yeah. Thank you for accepting me. My question is the personal statement for asylum. What, in a nutshell, what are the most relevant things to include in it?
Well, that's a great question. I should probably do a video on that, but let's talk about it because my wife just did a whole training in the office on what to do for an asylum statement. So, with any asylum application, the asylum applicant is going to have to demonstrate that they fear persecution in their home country because of something about themselves that they can't change or shouldn't have to change. So, I think a personal statement would begin by sort of introducing the applicant to the person reading the statement, walking them through sort of their basic background, and then how they came to the United States. And then the big shooting match is going to be, why do you fear persecution? And the greatest indicator of a high probability, a high risk of future persecution is by talking about past persecution. So, like, I'll give you an example. Let's say it's somebody from Iraq. If you're going to an asylum interview, or if you're working on an asylum statement, you can assume that the person sitting across from you, the officer who's handling the case, the person who's going to be reading your statement, you can assume that they know everything about the political situation in Iraq. You can assume that they know that the Sunnis and the Shias hate each other, or you can assume that there's parts of the country that are really unsafe, or you can assume that there's people who have tried to overthrow the government or whatever, that they like, they're going to know all the basic stuff about the country. And that's not going to be enough to carry the day. You need to convince them that there's things that are going to happen to you yourself. So it all has to be about you. So if you, like, let's say that someone was saying, I can't go back to Pakistan because I'm gay. And these are the things that happened to me because I'm gay in the past. I got thrown in jail. I got beat up. I got told that I was going to get killed, whatever. You've got to talk about everything that happened in the past, what life is like for you here in America, and why you fear going back home, and why things are going to be bad again for you. Now, if it's an asylum claim that's sort of developed while you're here in the United States, or you don't have a lot of evidence of things that happened to you before, that's going to be a tougher case to win. If all you're talking about is, life is good for me here in America and life isn't that good back in my home country, that's going to be really tough. So the greatest evidence that you can submit is stuff that happened to you in the past, and then pointing to any exhibits or documents you have that prove that, and then transitioning into why things would be just as bad or worse if you go back home. And you got to walk them through it like a novel or a story. You want to make it interesting, and you want it to be believable. So you don't want to overstate anything. You want to make sure that you downplay, like, don't be all exaggerating or dramatic. Just be very factual and say, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. The place for advocacy, the place for arguing your case is not in the statement. The statement should be factual, explaining, teaching, interesting, those kinds of things. As far as arguing that you deserve asylum, that's either for your lawyer to do at the interview or for you to do at the interview.
All right. Thank you.
Is that good? Is that helpful?
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Olu. Good luck, my friend.
Yeah.
See ya. Yep. I have a question. I-130. What's up? I have a question. I-130.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm great.
Can you
How are
hear
you
me?
doing?
Yeah, can I turn the camera off, please?
I got you.
Thank you so much. So, Jim, thank you for what you're doing for the community. It's been a while I'm watching your video. So, I came to US in 2019, and then I applied for asylum under the first years, and then in last years I get married with US citizen, and we've been talking since November, but she got divorced on January, and we get married on April. and then I filed for I-130 and 485 on May 5. So what happened then? I received my AAG because I had one before from the asylum, but I received a new one, and then my mom she was like a little bit sick, and I had to travel to see her. So I went to USCIS, and then I asked for a travel document. They told me
You didn't file for an advanced parole when you originally filed?
yes. I filed, but it take time. They didn't give it to me by that time. So
Okay.
I went with them. They said they need the proof. So I bring proof, and then they gave me advance parole the same day. So I travel and I see my mom for like 3 weeks.
Did you go to the country that you sought asylum from, or did you go somewhere
No,
else?
no, no, no. Spain, no, another country. Yep.
Okay.
And then I spent like 3 weeks, and then I came back. Okay. And then after I came back, I received. I was waiting for my interview, and then I received one interview on October 13th, and then it was canceled. I was a little bit worried, and after like 1 week, I received another notice that they rescheduled it for October 31, this month.
Halloween.
Yes. So I was a little bit okay. So my question is, so this is my wife. This is the second marriage. So I was a little bit worried about that because I
Well,
saw some of you.
it's a second marriage, and you said you started hanging out with her before her divorce was final.
Yes, she was separate, but we were just talking. And after she get divorced on January, we met on Michigan. We met like on Michigan on March, and then we start talking, and then she we said that she wanna like move here in GC. I live in GC, so she came here. We moved together for like 2 weeks, and then we get married. We took apartment and we live since then. So I was a little bit worried because when I was like looking to my asylum, the lawyer he put have children. I never been married. I never had children, but it was like mistake. He put have children, and then he didn't list any name and anything. So I was worried about that. It's gonna affect me for that one because my lawyer he said no, this is different field offers and it's not gonna affect you.
So you're saying on the I-589, he checked a box that said you had children and then didn't list
Yes.
any, or
Yes, he didn't list anything, and I never been married. And I check also the when I my visa, I check the thing, the file, and I put never married because I never married before.
so no lawyer can say that that won't come up or that won't be an issue. There's just simply no way to know that. I mean, hopefully you can convince the officer that it was just a typo that you and the lawyer didn't catch. Did you? Does your wife know about the asylum application?
Yes, everything. Yep.
Does she know the reason you sought asylum?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to assume that the officer is going to have your asylum file at your interview, and that you're going to have to be ready to talk about it. And in fact, your wife is going to have to be ready to talk about it a little bit. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. That helps.
So,
Okay.
as far as the to me, what I think the whole case is going to come down to at your interview is how do you prove that your wife was separated before November of 2022?
Okay. Yes, because that time she was living in England. She separated with her husband. Her husband he lived in New York, and she was living in England. But in January she received the the divorce decree.
When did she
It
move
was
to
finalized.
When did she move to London?
Like she spent 1 year. She was going back, like going, come back, going, come back.
So for a year or so, they lived
Yes,
apart.
yes, for years.
Okay, so
They
you're
were
going to
not.
want to bring good proof of that.
Okay.
And since you're talking about another country, did either she or her husband did they ever get immigration benefits from each other?
Yes, she applied for her husband before me, and he got like a green card through her.
So, in other words, you're the second person that she sponsored for a marriage-based green card. Okay,
Yes.
There's a saying in the news called "you buried the lead." You didn't tell me the most important factor. That's the most important factor in the whole case. They're going to be very suspicious. They're going to think she marries people to get them green cards.
Yeah, but we have like legitimate marriage. We have all the proof together.
I'm sure that's true, but you didn't hear what I said. They're going to think that she marries people to get them green cards.
Okay. So
Are you ready for that? Is she ready for that? They're going to come at her hard. They're going to separate you. They're going to think you're both lying. And did I assume that you guys disclosed the prior marriage and that person's immigration status? Like you put all that in the forms that she was married before?
Yes. And we have the divorce decree. We joined that.
How long was she married to that person?
For 4 years.
And is that person a citizen?
No.
Okay, so they're applying on the 5-year rule. Okay, which field office?
GC.
Oh, Fairfax?
Washington, yeah, Fairfax.
Yeah. So they're going to come at you hard, my brother. You better be ready.
So any like suggestion what I should be prepared exactly, what I should do exactly?
Well, first of all, you should talk. Is your lawyer coming to the interview?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah. I have a lawyer, but the problem, my lawyer, every time I talk to him about, he said, no, this is no problem. This is no problem. They will not go back. Like he make it easy. And every time I see your video, I told him, man, we need to like practice. We need to do that.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know you need to practice, but here's the thing. Again, he doesn't know if it's going to be hard or not.
Okay.
He doesn't. There's no way of knowing that. He doesn't know what officer has been assigned to your case. He doesn't know what kind of a mood that officer is going to be in. He doesn't know what's in your wife's immigration file for the prior husband.
Mm.
So, I mean, here's a good question. Here's a really good question. Has the ex-husband's 751 been approved? Do you know what that is?
Yes. What is the 751?
Okay, so when someone gets married, including you, so if you get your green card approved and your marriage is less than 2 years old, then you have to file an I-751, which is...
Yes. He got 10 years.
He has 10 years, okay.
Yes, he has 10 years. Yeah.
Well, here's a good question. How long ago did he get the 10-year green card?
Like because he had like deportation, as she told me he has deportation order, and then this is why it's too much for them to get that green card. Take 4 years for them to get that one.
So, I see. So he got an original 10-year green card. He didn't have to file it.
Yeah, no. He had like 10 years. Yeah.
Got it. Well, this is going to be interesting because they're probably you're going to walk in there, and the officer is going to have your marriage-based I-130. They're going to have your asylum case, and they're going to have the last case your wife filed for somebody. If your lawyer is telling you that this is easy and it's not going to be a big deal, I think this is crazy.
So, do you have any suggestion what I should do in this case?
Everyone's got to be ready for anything. I almost guarantee you they're going to separate you. I almost guarantee you that it's going to be a long interview. And I think that if they figure out that she sponsored someone else for a green card, they're going to go, their alarm bells are going to go off, and it's going to be really tough.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jim, for your advice.
Good luck. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, sure. For sure. Thank you so much.
All right. JC's here. Hello, JC.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Kind of nervous because next Tuesday I have my interview for the I-485. This week I got my EAD. I got mostly everything approved already, but I'm just nervous because I don't know what they're gonna ask me. Everything is good, but what documentation should I bring? Because also I just had a baby, but he passed away. So
sorry.
Yeah, I know.
How'd that happen?
We don't know. The doctors are trying to find out. but he passed away at 5 months. My wife was 5 months pregnant, so the baby passed away. So we have already the death certificate, the birth certificate of the baby. So should we bring that to the USCIS next week?
Oh, you absolutely should. I mean, number one, it's evidence of the marriage, and number two, it's going to make you both very sympathetic, and they'll probably not want to give you a hard time at all. So,
Yeah, because we have a baby right now. We have one that's 2 years old, but this is our second baby. So this is the one.
I'm sorry, JC.
Yeah, because I spoke to you a few times already about about
Yeah.
my case, and we were happy about the baby, but he passed away. So we have all the proof already about that. I got the medical records that I told you that they couldn't find, so I called a place where I got the medicals. I got everything, but yeah, so I'm just kind of nervous.
I'm surprised they're calling you in for another interview. Do you have any idea
what? No, it's my first.
For an interview at all. What I mean is, with them approving so many without interviews, and you having a 2-year-old, I'm sort of surprised that they're scheduling for an interview at all. Were you in status when you filed, or were you out of status?
Out of status.
So that's probably why.
Because I had backup, but I was out of status for like 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, so just be ready to talk about if there's any kind of false claim to U.S. citizenship. They might ask you about that. So just be careful.
I don't have any of that stuff. I don't have any false claim. I've been working, but that's all. Like, we're just going, but I have pictures already. I got pictures, got everything that I needed, But I don't know what else to bring. What else should I, I read everything that.
Like updated marital evidence, like bank statements and stuff, just some new stuff. How long ago did you apply?
March.
Yeah, so I would just get some new statements from between March and September.
So that's the only problem. We don't have joint banks together, and we live with my father-in-law on his house, so we don't pay any bills at all. So mostly we have is like the debt, insurance, life insurance. She has, and all stuff under my name.
So you don't have a lease?
Lease? No.
So you need a letter, an affidavit from a real sworn affidavit with the driver's license and everything from your uncle or whoever it is you live with, explaining your relationship, explaining why they live with you, why you live with them, why you don't have a lease, and that he sees you two living together and he knows that it's legit.
Oh, they also asked us for that, and we sent them already an affidavit, but it was not for the house. For the house, it was for like if we have any two people. So my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law wrote 2 affidavit supports for our marriage.
You have to have one about the living arrangements, otherwise they may not believe you actually live together.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, no problem.
Thanks, JC. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
I'll see you. All right, that was sad. Sad for him. Guest is here. Hello, guest 123.
Hi, Jim. First of all, thank you so much for doing this and helping us out. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
I had a question actually. 2 months ago, my husband was driving and by mistake he missed the red light and he met with an accident. My question is, I was filing his DS-160, like we were filing the DS-160, and there's a question which says, were you ever arrested or convicted? And I don't know what to write because he got a ticket for running the red light and we paid the fine. He was never arrested. So I'm confused. How do I fill the DS-160 and what do I need to be prepared for, my husband to answer about this?
When you say you're filling out a DS-160, what visa are you trying to get for your husband?
The H-1B, the H-1B work visa.
Okay. So, and what is the exact question?
The exact question is in the DS-160, there is a question which says, have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime? I know that running a red light in Tennessee is a misdemeanor, but misdemeanor C, I think. So I don't know what to write. What do I say?
Let's back up. So he's already in the United States?
He is. Yeah, we want to go back home and get the stamping done.
Why?
We want to get our stamping done so that we can travel back and forth to
Why?
India.
Okay, but what happens if they don't give him his visa and his stamp, and he has to stay outside the United States for 3 months. Then what happens?
Then I guess he loses his job and he might have to come on a H4.
So my vote is don't go get stamps. No one can. What country are you going to get stamps?
India.
So I don't know how much you watch this show, but once a month somebody's calling from India that they went back to get their stamp and they're stuck outside the United States for 3, 4, 5 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like in case of an emergency and our parents live there, so what would be the ideal way to address that question in the DS-160?
As long as it doesn't say cited.
It doesn't say cited, but I'm just afraid that they might be like, it still classifies as a misdemeanor, so in his background check it'll show up as a traffic misdemeanor, I would think.
Yeah, I think either way is fine. I think you're probably right. Probably better safe than sorry.
Oh, so it's okay if I write that he was he was cited but never arrested?
Yep.
In that question, I can and that's okay. Like, will they will that be an issue if I mark that as a yes?
No, not as long as you have the explanation and the documentation that he paid the fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Ido's back. What's up, Ido?
I'm fine. Can I turn my camera on, please? Off, please.
The camera.
Yesterday.
Sure.
Thank you very much for yesterday. Yeah, it's about yesterday. I forgot to ask one question about my friend. Is because like in I think it was like July. So he had accident with he was in accident with that somebody, but his girlfriend was driving the car. So somebody hit them and they called the police. So before the police will come, the son of the person who hit the car for his girlfriend wanted to aggress them, and he argued with the son of the person who hit the car of his girlfriend. So when the police show up, the police are Spanish. Those persons also are Spanish. So they were talking in Spanish and like an hour, like in more than 10 minutes. And after they come after him and they say the person are saying that he tried to shoot them, and like he tried to shoot them, and he said that he did a tourist threat. So and it was explained that he is not from America. How he can do tourist threat for somebody is from Togo, and they say they must detain him and be sure that he don't have any weapon, any gun or anything on him. So they put handcuff on him and they put him in. They check him. They didn't say anything. They put him in the car, like in the back seat of the car, of the police car, like like 10-15 minutes. And the police released him. They say that okay, they don't have anything on him. It's just argument, and they say that he's good to go, so he don't have any charge. So he's asking on the I-485. They ask her, have you ever been arrested or detained? You're gonna say yes or no?
Detained. Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, and he need to prove. He need to give her a proof, because he went to the police officer last time to ask them if they have any record that can show that he detained. They say no, it's good that they don't have anything in the system. They say just the police. They say it's just in the police. You're gonna be just in the police report. But they said you don't need to have any report.
Is there a police report about the accident?
Yeah, the police report about the accident is saw inside. They didn't mention anything that he was arrested in the police in the accident report.
If they hadn't handcuffed him and put him in the police car, then I would probably say no. But he was detained, so he's going to have to say yes, I was detained, and this person that we were involved in the accident with said that I threatened him, which I did not. And the officers thought about charging me with a crime. I wouldn't mention what it was. And then they decided to let me go, and nothing's been charged. And there's nothing, as you can see, there's nothing in the police report about it. And there's no other police report.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, Ido. All right. Comfort Claudia's here. What's up, Comfort Claudia?
Hi, Jimmy. Can I please turn my mic off, like my camera off?
Yep.
Okay.
Just give me a second.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
What's wrong?
Okay. So in 2008, my siblings and I, we moved to the US in 2008. And I moved back. Okay, so we got our green cards on arrival, like when we got to the US. But I moved back to Ghana because that's where we're from. I moved back to Ghana in 2009, and I haven't been back in the US in over 12 years. I recently applied for a B1, B2 visa, but my question is, I'm kind of worried because I've been doing a lot of research about my case. Like I abandoned my green card, and I
Right.
never came back to the U.S. like since I moved back to Africa here in Ghana. So my question is, can I get denied like a visa because I applied for a B1, B2 visa? I don't know what's gonna come up when I go for my interview, but yeah.
So on the DS-160, there's a question about whether anyone has ever filed for an immigrant visa petition for you. Did you mark yes?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think the chances of you getting a visit visa are very small.
The chances are small as in I'm gonna get denied.
Yes, I think so.
Wow.
I mean, what evidence are you going to have that you intend to come back to Ghana?
Yeah, so apparently I need to have like strong ties down here saying I'm
Right.
gonna come back when I come visit.
Right. So what do you have for that?
Or build like I'm working on building a house down here, like for my family. And I'm in charge of that because I we moved, like my siblings and I, we moved to the States. Or there was like there's three of us, but I'm here because I live with my mom. And I moved back down here because we left our mom alone. And yeah, my parents are divorced, so my dad brought me back so I can be with my mom because she was always complaining about like being alone and all.
Do you have a job?
I do not have a job down here.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that visit visa.
Wow. Yeah, so that's my question.
Thanks so much. All right. CK is here. What do you say, CK?
I can turn my camera off.
Go for it. It's
Thank you
off.
so much, Jim. I think you can recall me. So
No,
I had a
no, I can't recall you.
okay. So let me just explain. So I have applied for N400 and I went out for some of the emergency out of the country, and I had an interview. And the interview went fine. They sent me an RFE regarding some of the evidence they're looking for.
Like what? Like what? It's weird. It's weird to get an RFE on an N400. What RFE did you get?
So they're looking for some my like where I exactly my mm, what's called that um, um, tax information, as well as my because we it's under the 5 years rule, but we don't live together, and did not give them like full evidence where we live and all these things, and but it's under 5 year rules. But somehow like weeks back or 2 weeks back, I come back, I see that RFP and it's past the timeline, and I see they have approved my case.
They approved it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the question?
The question is now, is it normal to, if you do not respond to the RFP, they would approve your case?
So let's back up. Let's start all the way at the beginning. When did you first come to the United States?
I came 2012.
And what country are you from?
I'm from India.
And you came to the United States in 2012 on what kind of a visa?
It was a student visa, the F1.
And did you graduate and get OPT?
Yes.
And then did you get an H-1B?
No, I was married here. It's a marital wage.
Okay, so you married a U.S. citizen and they filed for a green card for you,
Right.
and you got the 2-year conditional green card,
Right.
and then you filed an I-751.
That is correct, and it was approved too.
How long did it take for the 751 to get approved?
Was a year and a half, I guess.
Okay, when did you? So what's this? When did you get your 10-year green card?
2017, end of the 17.
And when did problems start happening with your marriage?
2019.
So then you applied for citizenship like in 2021 or something.
2022.
2022, you applied for naturalization, and you applied on the 5-year rule. Did you have an attorney or did you file on your own?
I filed my own.
And at the time that you filed for naturalization, were you already divorced from the U.S. citizen?
No, we don't live together, but we are not separated yet.
You mean you're not divorced yet?
Um,
If you're not living together, you're separated.
right,
So as of right now, you're still married.
right.
So as of right now, USCIS has no way of knowing that you and your spouse are separated,
No,
which is why they sent you a request for evidence. Why wouldn't you get divorced if you're not living together?
like there's some like personal issues is going on. Like we might or might not, but that is why. But yeah, that's the situation.
It sounds to me like something different. It sounds to me like somebody who's trying not to get divorced because they think it'll make their citizenship case easier, but actually it's making it harder. That's what it sounds like to me.
Not
You
really.
haven't lived together for how many years?
Almost 2 years.
Right. So you have confused USCIS. They don't understand, and that's why they sent you the request for evidence. So walk me through then again the request for evidence. Are you saying that they sent it and you never received the actual request for evidence?
That is correct. I was out of country for some
Okay.
emergency.
That I do remember us talking. We talked about that before, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when did you leave to go out of the country?
I went back to like 3 months back and come back.
So no, I need to know the date. When did you leave to go out of the country?
It was
Roughly.
September. No, 1 second. It was July, end of the July.
Okay, so end of July 2023. Your case has been pending for about a year.
Right.
You had not had your interview, or you did have your interview?
I have interview went fine, everything was fine, but I did not get response because that the RFE time I was out of the country.
Hold on, so you're jumping ahead. I'm trying. When was the interview?
The interview was happened on June 15th or 16th.
And what field office?
The law office is New York.
And you went by yourself? Your spouse didn't come with you?
Right, I went myself.
Okay, so here we go. So when you went to the interview and the officer said, what's your marital status? What did you say?
Married.
And did they ask for your address?
Yes.
Did they ask for your spouse's address?
Yes, they did.
And what address did you give them for you and for your, you don't have to tell me the address, but did you say you were at the same address or different addresses?
I said same address.
Dumbass. That was really stupid. This is all so dumb. You're trying to be too cute with your marriage, and it's messing up your citizenship case. If you had been totally honest about what was going on, there's no reason why you can't be a citizen. You drew that RFE because you're being squirrely on who lives where.
Yeah, my brain was not working that time, unfortunately.
Well, you can call it my brain was not working, unfortunately. Do you know what USCIS calls it?
Yes.
Fraud. They call it fraud. So now they're on to you, and that's why they sent you the request for evidence.
No, the request of evidence is like I did not respond, but somehow they approved the case. That is
When citizenship case is over.
Mhm.
The online portal does not say approved. It says you are in line for oath ceremony. So something is glitchy with the computer. Your case, you have not received an oath ceremony, correct?
I received the oath ceremony.
You did?
Yes.
When is it scheduled?
Next, like 2 weeks from now.
Oh man. Okay, so what's your question for me?
So is it normal, or do I have to probably, because last time I think I did not hire any lawyer. Do I need to hire any lawyer regarding this, or any concern that I have to um, before I go to the oath ceremony? Anything that I need to know, or
I don't know, man. It seems to me like you misled USCIS and you haven't received the benefit yet. I'm not your lawyer. I don't know what I would tell you because on the one hand, you're on path to get citizenship, but on the other hand, you're on path to get citizenship because you didn't tell them the truth. So I would probably stay out of this case because it's such a mess and it's really dumb because it was all avoidable. It was all avoidable. Your case was totally approvable if you had just been honest. And right now, I can't tell you what the best thing to do is because you haven't been honest, but they've approved your case. And that's a really, really bad place to be. Because the reason that's a bad place to be is because if they find out about it, then they'll take away your citizenship.
or no, yes, but what I'm asking, like, do I need to worry about it right now to go on oath ceremony, or
I would be very worried about it.
what could be the consequences if it goes past? Like, I just want to be.
Well, it's a crime. It's a crime. To lie to USCIS is a crime.
So you're saying that I should not go to the oath ceremony?
I'm telling you, I'm done giving you advice. I've laid out to you what your problems are. You're going to have to decide what you want to do.
Okay.
From their point of view, you've committed immigration fraud. And if you tell them that, not only you're going to not get your citizenship, you're going to be in trouble. So you could have gotten your citizenship without it. So there's an argument that it wasn't material. But if you're having that argument, you're in big trouble. So I just don't know what to tell you.
So my question is it a normal thing that they have approved your N400 and asking you to go to the ceremony, and then they put you on some of the, like, some other removal procedure or something?
Well, they can go after your citizenship after you get it. So anything's possible. What this scenario that you're telling me, no, this is not normal. This isn't something that happens very often. So I don't know what to tell you.
It's for me, it was like too weird too as well, because I just see that I did not respond to the RFE, and they have approved all these things, and they have scheduled the oath ceremony as well.
So what about that? So what? What about that? The N400, I mean, so they even have an argument that you lied twice because you lied on the N400 itself by listing her address as yours. And then you lied at the interview. So I don't know.
Jim, just one thing. Like, should I hire any lawyer to that oath ceremony or not? What your suggestion would be on that case?
I've never heard, you wouldn't be hiring the lawyer for the oath ceremony. You would be hiring the lawyer to figure out what to do for you. I think that might be a good idea. I think that as crazy as it sounds.
Okay. Is there any way that I could request for what they have on my case, and then I can request right now to expedite to see what's going on with my case, and then probably go to the oath ceremony?
Expedite it? What are you talking about? Your ceremony's in 2 weeks. There's nothing to expedite. What do you mean expedite?
Not expedite. I mean the request for evidence, like open the request for evidence for what they have USCIS on my case.
But you didn't file a response to the request for evidence, right?
I did not.
So what I don't understand what you're trying. I think what you're I think what you're asking me is, Jim, can I get a look at my file and see how this came to be approved without me ever responding to the RFE?
Right. Like, do I? There's a form called the open.
The Freedom of Information.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that while your N400 is this close. I mean, what you could do is you could withdraw the N400, which is what I was going to say earlier. I didn't get a chance to. You could withdraw the N400, do a FOIA, and then file a new one with the correct information, and then at that point explain to them what happened. But you still do have the problem of not being truthful at your interview and not being truthful on the form itself. So I don't know, man. It's a big mess.
Right. So, but do I have to be on this oath ceremony, or like?
You mean could you ask to have your ceremony postponed?
Right.
I wouldn't do that. I would either withdraw it, or I would not. I mean, you could try, but I don't think they'll do it. I don't think if you sent them a letter and said, "Hey, well, I mean, I guess if you, I mean, here's what really needs to happen probably is if you notified them that you want to be taken out of line for the oath ceremony and that you want them to reopen the request for evidence so that you can fully respond, and then you fully respond and tell them what you did, then I think they would deny your N400, and then you'd have to wait 5 years to apply. And when you apply 5 years from now, you'd have to tell them again about your lying and then see what happens. That's probably what needs to happen. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm saying that's probably what needs to happen.
So yeah. So what my question is, so they will like withdraw my cases right now if I just request them like to out of the ceremony line, or
problem is if they're not used to getting letters requesting to be taken out of the oath ceremony, and probably the only time that ever happens is if somebody is traveling overseas. The problem is I don't think that letter is going to meaningfully get to them in the 2 weeks that you have left before the ceremony.
So my situation would be very bad right now, right?
Your situation's very bad right now. Yep.
Any suggestion that I could do?
I've given you everything I can think of.
You said FOIA would not get within a 2 weeks, right?
No, FOIAs take 6 months.
6 months. Okay. Just one sentence. What should I do right now in this situation?
I'm not giving you a should. I'm not giving you a should. I will not give you a should. I've told you all the consequences of what you did. I've told you everything that you're looking at. And I will not give a should. All right. That was something else. That was something I didn't see coming. But I'll tell you this. This is one of those situations where people create their own messes. People create their own messes. And it's unfortunate. It was all completely avoidable. He could be all set for citizenship, but he's trying to be too cute. Despite the fact not living with this person for 2 years, listing her at the same address. It's frustrating. Otto, what do you got, Otto?
Good morning, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I have a quick question. If someone has a green card based on asylum and wants to travel outside the United States, should they use their passport from their home country or a travel document?
My vote's a travel document.
Do you have a reason or preferences?
So when you use the passport of your former country, what I'm told is that is a way of availing yourself of the benefits of your citizenship in the country that you claimed asylum from, and they could give you trouble about it when you apply for citizenship. I've never actually heard of that happening or knowing of that happening, but that's what everybody says, if that makes sense, Otto.
Okay. I want to say one thing. I heard your show all the time. And very funny, some people, when their case is messed up, they call you, hey, my case is messed up. It's way too late. Also, I strongly encourage everyone who wants to apply for green card to hire an attorney because it's very complicated application and it's very tricky. Any minor mistake might delay your application. That's my advice.
That's good advice, Otto. Thanks, man. Good luck with everything. Yeah, I mean, there's really no downside to getting the travel documents, so I would just go ahead and do it other than the cost. I mean, it's just a couple $100. It's not a big deal.
All right, Jim. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, man. All right. Let's keep going. Let's see what Ordis has to say. Hello, Ordis.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good, Jim. I'm good. I have like 2 questions for you.
Sure.
I'm a green card holder, and based on marriage, first I had my green card in September of 2020. That's of September 2020, and I was thinking of filing my citizenship, but first I got a bad day, police. It was just a bad day, and I was arrested. But the case was ultimately dismissed, and yep, that's it. So I was thinking
So
of
what was the charge?
I went out to like get some stuff from the grocery with my son. So I left him in the car for like 10 minutes during COVID, and somebody just called the police.
And you got a citation for that?
Yep.
Okay, and so did you pay a fine, or did they just flat out dismiss it, or what happened? Because everyone calls things dismissed, but dismissals mean different things. So what did you pay a fine, or?
I didn't pay a fine, so I went there, and the state attorney, that his lawyer that they gave to me, he just said ultimately they're gonna dismiss the case. So I went to court a couple of times. I got my court records, and then the case was dismissed.
Okay, so that's good. So that when did that happen, Ordis?
Like in 2021, March 2021.
Okay, so that doesn't bother me too much for naturalization. What else is keeping you from filing for naturalization?
That's just gonna be all, because right now, the only thing is that with my spouse right now, we don't have a joint bank account, but we live together, and we have 2 kids, and we have a lease for the house together, and we have meals that come on our names together. So I don't know if I'm gonna need more evidence or stuff like that. So
What happened with the 751?
no, nothing. I haven't filed yet, so that's why I'm calling. I just want to find out if I'm in the right.
The 751 to remove conditions. Did you file for that?
No, I had a 10-year.
Oh, okay. So you're telling me the only thing that you think is bad about your case is that you had that, the ticket for the. I mean, you're going to have to say I was cited. You're going to have to say that I had a court date, but that it got dismissed. You're going to have to disclose all that and probably get the records for it. But that's not a reason to keep from filing for citizenship. I think you're okay. Obviously, you made a mistake, but it was COVID, so there's an argument it was safer to leave the kid in the car than to bring him in a store if it was during COVID.
Yeah, that's what the judge said. Like, it was safe because my kid was just like 18 months old.
Yeah,
I was kind of scared. I didn't in there, like so many people getting in there, and COVID.
What month was it, Ordis? What month and year did that happen?
It happened in April 2021.
Yeah, so that was still when things were really hot. So yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, yeah, I'd say go ahead and file for sure, and just try to get as much marital evidence as you can. You've got 2 kids, that's a lot, and so they have school records, they have medical records, you have bills and everything. You're gonna be fine, Ordis. You're gonna be fine.
All right. So do I need to contact your office?
Yeah, we'd be happy to help. Yeah, sure. Just email us.
All right. Thanks so much, Jim.
Bye, Ordis. Okay. All right. So that'll do it for today's show. I'm going to do a pop-up show sometime this weekend from home. I don't know when, probably Saturday. But if you want to find out when, text the word show to 314-470-3300. In spite of that, we'll also have our next official show is going to be Tuesday night. at 7 p.m. Central. I'm going to do a late night show at 7 Central. And we'll see you guys then. Thanks so much and have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.